Live. All right, welcome everybody to USA Crypto Group for tonight's AMA session. We have Fathom Finance on the mic tonight. They have a unique way to stake and sustain. I'd like to welcome Sergey and Bishop from Fathom Finance tonight. Glad to have you both here at USA Crypto Group. If you guys could just start off with introducing yourselves, your team, and the background of the space, and how you guys came together.
Sure thing. Thank you. My name is Bishop. I'm part of the DeFi Knights, and my background is in neuroscience. From college, I went off into sales. I worked for a small Israeli company and ended up running the American branch for a little bit. Then COVID hit, and health problems on top of that. So I had a bunch of free time to actually invest into a new passion, and I found DeFi. And that was all about 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago. And in that time, I was able to meet Sergey, and we met in a mod community where we were modding for another community together, and we spent some time just, making friends and doing a whole bunch of work and not getting paid for it. So we eventually split off and did our own thing in DeFi and started building this about 15 months ago. So we've been on quite the journey, and it's been a lot of fun. Sergey?
Absolutely. Hey, so I'm Sergey. So yeah, I've got a kind of interesting background work-wise. But I have a degree in computer networking from like 20 years ago when I got out of high school. Actually, then went back to school for flight because I find out you might have an associate's degree or something, but if you have no work experience, you can't really get hired. So I'm back to school for aviation. But wound up leaving that before I finished, but did finish my degree in business. The company I'm with right now, I've been with them for 9 years. It's a very large, actual global company. But, a couple of years ago, I started playing around in the stock market and wound up hearing about SafeMoon actually through the chat of Webull. And I did some research on it, and I saw the massive gains that unfortunately had just happened, and wound up figuring out how to get in, bought in at like the all-time high. And didn't stay in for too long because I saw it, it was obviously not going up anymore. But then I just started looking around, found sites like CoinMarketCap, and was finding projects that, especially ones that had just launched. And then, kind of just started diving into the whole degen world of DeFi, and it was very exciting. It was a lot of fun, also scary because it's easy to lose money, unfortunately. Then found the other project that we got very involved in. Both became moderators, and during that time, I was learning that I actually am I guess really good at math compared to a lot of others in this space, and so I was constantly being asked questions about, especially if we use the entire buyback system, what would that do to the price? And so I figured out how the AMM worked. I was setting up spreadsheets constantly and getting a better understanding of that, then started playing around with the numbers to see how things would work differently. And we eventually left the other, we gave up our moderator position and kind of branched out and started watching other projects and seeing what they did good, watching what other ones weren't doing so good with, and just kind of set out to build a system that would be sustainable and be fair for everybody. And that's where Fathom came from.
Awesome, appreciate that, guys. Is that it for the core team there?
You know what? The Defiant, you want to jump in here? He hasn't really been on any of these, but he's actually our third team member, and he's actually a killer lawyer. Do you want to jump on there for a minute, Defiant, introduce yourself? Since I saw you jump in here. There he is.
Sure. How's everyone doing?
Good, Defiant. How's it going?
Thank you. Yes, sir. I'm Defiant. I'm more of the legal background, kind of the manager of that area. I have about 15 years in legal knowledge and expertise. I specialized contracts in law school, a few other specialties along the way. Same thing as Bishop. Once crypto kind of came out during COVID, there's not a whole lot of legal precedents. There are a little bit of things that can be legally binding, but with the new laws coming out, I just gained like a really good interest in trying to be one of the first people that may be able to assist with the laws and developing this whole system that's going to be big in the future. So I met these guys a few years back, and we've been kind of a little team since.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Defiant and Sergey and Bishop. All right. So appreciate that introduction. Getting into the project here, first thing I want to ask you guys, why the name? What brought you guys to the name Fathom Finance?
Well, we chose Fathom because to fathom the possibilities.
Gotcha. I like that. All right. So go ahead, Sergey.
The meaning of Fathom, or one of them, is to come to an understanding. And as we were basically have this system almost built to or designed to what it is today, we're like, this is not going to necessarily be that easy to understand. So Fathom kind of worked out very well. And then it also has the second meaning, which is, 1 fathom is 6 feet deep in water. So it gave us basically our theme, which is everything, underwater. So it kind of worked out.
I appreciate that. All right, now, so getting into your project here, let me pull up this little website here. Guys got a lot going on here with staking. So, Sergey, I'll let you, Bishop, take the way on explaining, what Fathom is and how, they're going to change the staking way of the space.
Sure. So we're working on a new way of staking. Previously in the past, as everyone knows, when you go and you stake, and if you staked at the peak, you were your rewards would become worth less and less as time went on, and you would have no control over it. What we ended up doing is creating a fair staking way, where we call stable staking. And that's because when you stake, if you were to have like 100 Fathom worth $1,000, then you would receive a dividend token worth $1,000. That's called mass stablecoin. I'm sorry, but you receive reflections on that token. You receive rewards based on the amount of stable coins that you have.
Yeah, so what we decided to do was base the rewards on the value of your tokens at the time of staking. And that's where that mass dividend token comes in. Now, keep in mind, every staking protocol out there has this dividend tracking token. It's normally when you stake 1,000 tokens, you receive 1,000 of these placeholder, and all that. It's just there just to track your rewards. And so we've changed the way though that works, because now we've made it based on the value. And if this is kind of confusing, I want you to just think about any other position that you currently have staked or maybe have staked in the past. And so it had a value when you first staked it. If it was in DeFi, there's a really good chance that at some point later on, the current value of all your tokens in there was much less than you staked it for. And your rewards followed the drop in the price. And so that's where this really kind of sets apart, because the number of mass that you have with your stake is essentially that becomes the value of your stake. It doesn't matter what the token price does or the value of your tokens staked become, because that mass locks in that value. So even if after you've staked, the price drops 95%, which we've seen that everywhere in crypto, and your $1,000 becomes worth like $50 of tokens, you're still going to receive based on that $1,000. So if we're paying out 1% per day, that means you're going to receive $10 a day worth of Fathom because of that mass, even though now your staked tokens are only $50 worth. So within 5 days, you're going to basically receive the number of tokens that you have staked, where normally it would take 100 days. And that's where this really sets it apart. Plus, we've got these other little features in there, I guess. We decided to further reward those who are staked by implementing this reflection of these dividend tokens, which I haven't ever actually seen that anywhere else. But so basically, when somebody else unstakes, instead of all of those tokens, those dividend tokens being burned, which is what normally happens, 25% of them are actually reflected to all of the other stakers. So over time, if you do absolutely nothing, you don't add to your stake, you don't compound or anything, over time, the number of mass you have is going to actually increase as you receive those reflections. So essentially, the value of your staked position is going to increase. That's kind of one of those neat little things in our system that doesn't happen anywhere else.
Okay, that's quite interesting. So, Sergey, with the staking that you have here, what is the, if any, taxes on the way in and out for staking? And then is there a lock period, and what are those periods?
Sure. So yeah, we actually do have a staking tax, which is separate from the buy and sell. Because whenever tokens are staked, that mass is created. And so the total mass we can look at as our total liability, because we're paying out a percentage worth of Fathom based on that total mass. So if we have 1 million mass, we're paying out $10,000 worth of Fathom every single day at 1% daily. So that's basically our total liability. So we're taking so we're taking a 25% staking tax, and what we're doing with that is at least 75% of it is going to go to build up our revenue stream, which was called the jet stream, and that's basically going to be a conglomerate of like validators, trading bots, other protocols that. Well, we're not even looking at other protocols at this point because they're all kind of failing, but it's a way so that we can stake that money somewhere else to earn revenue and bring that revenue in to buy back our own tokens and refill the rewards pool, which is called the ocean. So that we do have that tax, and we're just doing it so we can support everybody who invests with us. One other thing, since you did bring up the taxes, we actually have, is it here? Yeah. So we have a 15% buy tax and a 5% sell, which is backwards from normal. And so the reason we've done that is we're collecting the money up front so we can actually support your investment as you come into our system. Because for me, I think it's totally backwards to actually do it the other way around, to do a low buy and then a high sell. Because either way, you're still getting taxed the same amount between buy and sell, but then the project isn't receiving the funds to support the project until people leave, and that just doesn't make sense. So we're doing the tax up front so we can, so when you're investing in us, we can actually support your investment. And the same thing is 75% at least of what we bring in on taxes goes to build that revenue stream, so we can support that's the long-term sustainability for us.
And also there is a unstaking vesting period as well. So your tokens will be locked for 2 days. And then the next 2 days after that, there'll be an unstaking tax of 75%. And then this tax is decreased by 25% every 2 days. So at the end of 8 days, there's actually 0% unstaking tax, and the first 2 days were locked. That's just to make sure that people can't go in and just stake and unstake constantly. So say that we're going through a bull run and you stake at that time and it continues to go up, it means that you just have to hold on for at least 8 days. But if it does increase, it's also going to give us a really cool way to do a fair launch as well. So because all of our pre-sale and dev tokens are staked at launch, the first 2 days everything will be staked and vested for 2 days and locked. So that allows us to have a very much like a fair sale launch, and we're able to have avoid the pre-sale dump that always occurs, at least for 8 days. And over that time, say that we went up 40x from launch, there could be people who are unstaking and day 2, day 3, and giving up 75% of all their tokens just to get that 10x. Because if we're 40x up, 75%, we're still able to get a 10% return on that, which is great for people. However, they're not able to sell their full bag And what we do take, we're actually putting it back into the ocean so that more rewards and more sustainability can actually be occurred. This is going to allow us to potentially even be deflationary in the first couple days of launch. So super excited about that.
I appreciate that, Bishop. Pretty interesting. So when you guys do launch, will there be a max wallet? And I know you were just talking about a max sell. Will there also be like a max buy and sell as well, and maybe like a 24-hour span?
So we'll have a maximum buy for the first couple of minutes. Honestly, one of my favorite launches, they had a small max buy for like the first 5 minutes. And it wound up being my favorite launch ever because it basically allowed everybody that was there to get in during that launch at the very beginning within the first few minutes. Of course, once they opened it up, it kind of went nuts after that. But for me, that was, that was great because it wasn't, you didn't have a few bots or something coming in and kicking the price way up as they were buying a huge amount right when the token launched. And so we're basically going to do the same thing. It's not going to be a very big buy. It'll be probably less than like $20, we're on the Binance Smart Chain, so it's not going to be a huge amount of gas, so it'll work fine. Or if it was Ethereum, it'd be different. But yeah, so the launch is going to be a lot of fun. I love fair launches, and so this is going to be just like a fair launch because not a single owned token can be sold for 2 days. And
yeah, that's like you were saying earlier, that's across the whole spread, right? Seed sale, private sale, fair sale, all of that, right?
Every single token will be staked in that first 2 days, that time lock period for the first 2 days. So yeah, nobody can unstake their tokens and sell.
And then starts at 75%, decreasing every 2 days of 25% for the 8-day totals. Okay.
Yep. All right. After 8 days, there's no penalty to unstake.
All right. So I see you guys got a couple of things going on here too. Let's see, the weather. Can you guys go into a little bit about the weather here?
Sure. So the weather is actually what we are using to purchase back Fathom. So we're giving out 1% a day to mass holders from our ocean. And that's making us a bit inflationary. And what the weather is going to do is it's going to take from our jet stream, our giant revenue stream, and all the profits raised, well, most of the profits raised will actually go towards purchasing Fathom and refilling the ocean from the rewards pool that we're giving out 1% per day. So the weather is just another smart contract where it's holding all of our profits and doing the buybacks automatically. And we're able to adjust the size and rate of these buybacks according to what we desire for the season.
All right, pretty interesting. And that also ties in with the waves here, as that occurs every 15 minutes. Is that right, for the stakers to get their treasuries? Now, when that occurs every 15 minutes, is that every single day, 24 hours a day, every 15 minutes, you'll get an ocean release?
Every 15 minutes, there will be an ocean release, and that will go to the stakers of whoever's holding mass. So whoever's holding mass will get a small percentage of our ocean every 15 minutes. The ocean is launching with half our total supply. We're launching with a total of 1 billion total supply. There's no minting in our system whatsoever. So it's actually going to have 500 million, and the ocean will have a supply of 500 million. And we'll be giving out a small percentage of that pool every 15 minutes to people who have mass.
Okay. So your DApp, I know you guys have a really nice looking DApp. If you could pull that up for me. Let's see here. There it is. Yeah, if you could break down that nice DApp for me, what you guys got going on there and all the tabs on the left. It looks like a really nice DApp you guys have built there.
Thank you much. And it's right now it's not linked to it from the website. As soon as we did the pre-sale live, it went to this, which was the DApp, but somebody clicked on it and somehow through Trust Wallet managed to come to buy Fathom and put in like 1.5 BNB, which should not have happened. So it went to a dead contract. So we had to take this down because there was like a glitch within Trust Wallet that kind of messed that up. But it is currently on testnet.fathom.finance. So anybody can go there and try this. It is on testnet. So you will need testnet BNB to actually do anything with it, if anybody wants to test this out before we even go live. And we're going to keep this up for a little while, probably even after we launch. And, the real version will be on DApp.fathom.finance. But yeah, so what we want to do is give as much information as possible, because, we've been part of those communities or watch a token that's either just launched or even after a while. And there's always questions of what is this? What is this? What about this? What's our current? So we wanted to give as much possible information to anybody that would possibly want it. And so it starts with, your own stats up top here. But just ignore a lot of these numbers. They're not accurate. They're just placeholders. Or like right now, this is a staked wallet that I have. So I've got, it's going to show what's in your wallet. It's going to show what you have staked, the value staked, how much mass you have in your stake. And so that the mass is actually held in your wallet. It'll tell you how many of the reflections of mass you've received. And then treasure is the unclaimed rewards. It's going to tell you all that right here. It'll give the information on what to expect on the next wave, which is, of course, every 15 minutes. The current ROI. This will actually be kind of interesting to see, because we're going to show this in two different ways, based on number of tokens, which will be the Fathom, and then based on the value also. And the value we're going to try to keep around 1%. But this number here, depending on your ratio of Fathom to mass, which will be dependent on basically when you bought in, these two can be very, very different. So that's going to be kind of fun to watch as we're moving along. And then, of course, the 12-month estimated APY at the current amount. But yeah, and then this will show like your history of everything you've purchased, sold, staked, total amount of mass you've had, total amount of treasure you've had. So it's just as much information, again, that we could think of to put in here. I'm sure we'll have questions. Hey, what is this? And then, we'll, of course, but damn, how did we miss that one, and go and add it. But we tried to nail everything we could. So yeah, so it's basically that's what it is. Of course, now we're getting down to, the ocean here. So it'll actually show you how much is in the ocean, how much has been totally been sent, which would be how many rewarded. Received will be a combination of those Ripple taxes plus buybacks, and then what to expect for the previous and the next wave. I mean, these will be very close together anyways, but yeah. So our whirlpool, most projects have some kind of allotment of dev tokens. A lot of times they run out of them. So our whirlpool is going to be a stake position. One thing that we're not planning to unstake, and it'll be 5% of the total supply, and it'll just be receiving the rewards from the ocean. So if we ever do need tokens for influencers or giveaways, prizes or whatever, we'll have access to that to be able to get those from what the whirlpool receives in its treasure. And then the Shilling C, this is a fun one. It's basically a payment system for shillers. 1% of all buys go to our Shilling contract, and they get staked there automatically. And this is probably the only true burn in our system, because we can never unstake those tokens. Like, it's not possible. We just can't do it through the smart contract. So they get staked there. So they're going to also receive their own bit of rewards. And so for the first couple of weeks, it won't actually be paying out. It'll just be auto compounding. But then once we turn that on, and everyone will be able to go get, basically set up their, I forgot the name, their ID for the Shill School, which is a referral link. And anybody that uses their referral link, they're going to receive a 1% discount on the tax. And then the referral link owner will receive another token called work. And it works very much similar as mass. So if somebody purchases $1,000 worth, they'll receive 1,000 work. And then what's going to happen is every 8 hours, it's going to be basically in 8-hour shifts. The rewards that the Shilling contract has earned, or has accrued, they will be then sent out to everybody who's holding that work token. And so that's how the payment will work. And over time, it's that is basically going to just continue to grow and grow because it's coming from that buy tax. And so this could become like this massive payment system. I mean, we don't know how large it can get, but, we're kind of hoping it becomes just this system where everybody is coming to shill us because they can get paid directly from our shilling fee. And then this is, of course, going to show the total amount of mass and everything for the system. Stable stake. So the treasure chest. Like I said, very, very aquatic. Maybe a little piratey on this one. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something?
No, I like that. I like the whole ocean theme. I do.
All right, let me claim my booty here. Maybe I shouldn't say booty. So yeah, again, everything's operational. So right now it's going to show the amount that you have and the current value of it. Let's pray testnet works because sometimes it gets funky and doesn't always work. Yay, it worked. So now we should be able to go back to my stats, and now it's in my holdings and no longer in the treasure. Yep. Sorry, just demonstrating that, yes, our DApp does work. So yeah, it does. Again, so we put the treasure on the top so it's easy to claim. You can also click compound, which is just basically going to claim and then automatically stake your tokens. So it does also explain the Ripple tax here, which we put above the actual staking portion so that it is seen. And this will actually show you the last time you staked or compounded. Yep, and then it's just come down here. So I could actually just go ahead and stake what I have here token-wise. And then here's the unstaking portion. And so, yeah, it's going to, this is just showing everything that is, what you have staked, the amount of mass that you're going to lose in this case when you do unstake. Yeah, so we've tried to make it kind of clear and easy to work through this. Now, the one thing is important. So when you do compound, it does reset this back to the first day, because it is a stake. And I actually did try to get away from doing that, but there wasn't a way. So what I did do was I made it so that there is no transfer tax. So if you want to compound, but you don't want to reset your main wallet, you could just claim your tokens, transfer them without a fee to a different wallet, and then stake them in there. And so that was very important to us. So also, we made it very easy to buy, but also buy and stake. And so the buy and stake function is actually pretty powerful. What it does is, instead of buying tokens, getting that 15%, and then staking it, since it's value-based, you'd be losing that 15% of mass. What the buy and stake function actually does is it buys with the full amount, captures the full value, and then pulls the taxes out. So $1,000 purchase in this case will get you 1,000 mass instead of 850 if you purchased and then went and staked on your own. So this right here is a really neat function that we put into this. Yep, and then here's the Shill School information. I've already set this one up during my testing and stuff. So you'll just have this. It's like a few pennies to set up your ID for this, and then this will actually show you how much commission you've received based on the value and everything, and it'll actually show how many people are holding the work tokens, how much you have, how much you've had, and so it's just going to give the information based on this whole payment system. So that's the DApp, pretty much all of it at this point.
Appreciate that breakdown there, Sergey. Very nice there. And for your Shill School at the bottom that we were just going through there, what does that actually entail? What is a Shill School? If someone wanted to become a part of it, what does their work entail?
It's basically getting somebody to utilize your link, but we also did want to, as part of our partners with RBX Samurai, there's a whole lot of shillers, and so we're actually going to have a group set up where they'll be working with everybody else if they want to especially learn some better techniques with shilling. So it'll actually be a school for Shilling, and then this is how they can earn. So as long as somebody uses the link, you'll be able to earn directly from that payment system that we have out of the contract.
Okay, so say like I wanted to come be part of your Shilling school there, and I wanted to shill out your project. How would I show my proof of Shilling to get paid for that?
Well, that's all done.
There.
You go ahead.
So right there at the top, it'll say generate link, and you'll actually just generate this link here. You pay for the gas and you generate your link. And after that's done, all you have to do is share to a friend, and they use that link then. Because 1% of every transaction is going towards the Shield School that doesn't use a link. So it's slowly building up from everyone that doesn't use the link. But if you do use a link, then you get that 1% off on taxes. So instead of 15% tax, you actually get 14% tax just by using the link. And we automatically tracks it.
All right, pretty interesting there. So with now it goes into the Shilling C. So is the Shilling C there a separate staking contract from the other ones? Or from the other one, rather?
Yes, it is its own contract.
It is its own, okay.
Yep, and so it's staked to the it's a contract that's staked in our staking protocol. So it's actually a staked wallet contract, and it's permanently locked, and always receiving more and more from the ocean.
All right. Appreciate that, Bishop.
Yeah, I can actually bring up a transaction here, and it's easier just that way to find all these contracts. Yeah, it went through.
Oh, yep, I see you there. Playing around with the test then, okay.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So yeah, actually, it looks like I guess somebody purchased recently. Oh, that's right. I claimed, so everything went sent out. But yeah, so right actually here, that's the 40,000. So this is actually what it received in the rewards recently, and this is where this is the auto compounding of the Shill School currently. So that's the Shill contract there. So we can actually go here. I'm on the wrong token. Yep. So so right now, actually, our Shill School currently has 474 mass, and that's just from not a whole lot of playing around in this. I guess now there's 92 holders, so people have been, joining us, which is fun. I'm glad they're testing it out. People in our community. So yeah, this is just all the transactions that occurred with this. So this is actually the auto compound that just occurred and what it received from that 0.001 BNB buy that I just did. And so yeah, you can actually see, but yeah, the auto compounding, that'll get turned off, and then the actual links will go live. And we're not going to do that for probably like 2 weeks, because during the first couple of weeks, we're going to have a lot of marketing going already, and there should be, like everything else, there's usually a lot of hype in the very beginning. And so as that hype starts dying down, that's when we kick in our Shilling payment. But during that whole hype period, we're just going to let this thing grow so it becomes much larger and much more desirable to actually go and shill for us. So that's kind of just part of the strategy that we're going to use to utilize this as the best of our ability.
All right, so Jay, with the where was I just a second ago? Hold on, let me pull this back up. Okay, so that actually rolls me right into the question with the security side of the contracts there. Have you guys audited the contracts and the staking contracts yet? If you have, who's done them?
Twice. Solidity Finance and Truth Seekers has done it.
Okay, let's see here. It was there any issues found on any of the audits there, brother?
There was a few things from Solidity Finance. It was nothing really major. Some of it was, they came up with issues that they didn't understand what was happening. basically on both of them, but it was more optimizing. They actually both said that they were very, very nicely written contracts by our dev team, which is good to hear. But yeah, we fixed everything that came out on the Solidity one, and then when Truth Seekers did it, there was really nothing to fix in the code, and so the only thing that they were worried about, because we will have control over everything, they just suggested we put everything into a multi-sig. So yeah, all the contracts will be owned in a multi-sig, so no one person can make any changes to it.
Perfect. So rolling into the tokenomics here, Sergey, could you break down the tokenomics, and then also with the 50% in and the 5% out, can you tell me what those taxes are allocated to?
Sure, absolutely. I guess on the tax first, yeah, so 75%. So if we had to break it down, 3.75% of sells goes to the jet stream. The other 1.25% goes to DevOps, and then on the buys, it's, oh gosh, that one's a little harder. 6.9. What is that? 10, like 11.25% goes to the jet stream, and then the rest goes to the DevOps. But it's 75% of everything we take in goes to jet stream, and then 25 to DevOps. So we didn't really separate it on each tax, because everything gets collected to the contract and then converted to BNB once it reaches the threshold. We're not sure what the threshold will be. That's going to depend on the price, basically. So it's not too big of a sell-off once it does occur. And then as far as the breakdown again, so right, the biggest allocation is the ocean. It's going to be 50% of the supply at launch, and it's actually 20. I didn't update it. It's actually 26% because we made some changes from our initial pre-sales, but once Truth Seekers came involved, so it's actually like 26.5%, I think, that went towards the current pre-sale, and that's going to be split between that and the LP for launching. And then the Whirlpool was 5%, and then we had 3% for marketing, a total of 5% for developers, and that's several. That's not like just Bishop and I. I think there was like 8 of us in that amount. And then we did have a private pre-sale that was 10%, and that was it's actually the seed sale, because that's what, by collecting that from May until basically December, that's what allowed us to build all this, because there are 6 different smart contracts, an API, and then of course the website and the DApp and stuff, all that stuff. We had to get that created, and we decided to create all of that without having the token launched. So, we've been holding their money now, many of them since May or June. Yeah, and then, our goal is to, validators on layer 1 blockchains, they're not the most profitable, but they're going to be a stable form of revenue coming in. So that's going to kind of become the backbone, and we're in a good position to do this because we're kind of, still in that bear market. The prices are much lower than they've been. So now's the time to pick up the coins for these validators and get them going. Because, we know it can go down still, but hopefully not too much from here. We wouldn't mind if we stay in this kind of lull area of this bear market for a while, though, because it'll help us, build up those validators. But then once we do hit the bull market, those are going to become so much more valuable, and revenue coming in is going to become much greater, which is when we're going to really need it, in the future for the sustainability. We are looking at, we've been looking at DeFi protocols, and honestly, like, nothing is lasting. So we're actually getting different, we're going to utilize several different styles of trading bots to generate that revenue, because we can get a much higher return on those. They're a little bit riskier, so we don't want to use a lot of capital in those, but that'll help support the system at a higher level. And then the jet stream. So the jet stream out, that's going to be basically as we bring the revenues in, about 70% going to the weather, which is going to be for the buybacks, and we'll be compounding constantly. And then a small portion of that goes to the DevOps And the actual goal here is that at some point, this 5% from the jet stream to the DevOps is going to support it. And at that point, we'll actually get our taxes 100% coming to the jet stream. Not sure if that's ever going to be able to happen, but we will, as we will increase this taxes to build up that jet stream. Because again, the jet stream, that's the revenue coming in. That is really going to be the backbone and the long-term sustainability for this whole project. And that's really our focus. And even with the compounding, right, it's going to be constantly growing the jet stream, even if there is no trading volume in or out.
Perfect. Appreciate that, Sergey. So with breaking down the tokenomics a little bit further here with your sales, you've had a few sales, to date so far. With the revenue that you've raised so far, what have you raised between I know you rounded about 600K on your fair sale, but what have you raised for your seed sale privates, and what were those? What was that used for? I know you were talking about building out your DApp, but what else will you be using that for?
So the initial seed sale, we closed around $80,000, and then the second pre-sale we closed at about $12,000. So we really didn't get all the way through either of the first two ones, but we raised about $100,000 in total between the two of them, and all of that went towards making our DApp and contracts. So to make our 6 smart contracts and API and DApp, and to get it audited and everything else, it costs us around the entirety of the whole thing. The team hasn't taken anything up to date yet, but now that we have the next pre-sale, the one that just came through the fair sale, we're going to be donating. Well, not donating. We're going to be using about half of that for the jet stream. So we're going to get that up and running right now. We already have a validator that's pretty much good to go. We just have to get the coins ready to get it to operate. We also have some bots coming in as well. So we're getting things moving. We're getting things going, and we now have the capital to get them rocking and rolling.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Congratulations on raising 600K so far, or close to it anyways.
Thank
on
you.
your fair sale. Absolutely amazing. All right, let's see. Becoming a validator, can you break down the process of what that actually is and how to actually become a validator?
Sure. So you actually have to basically get a software, and the software is free for everyone. You can go out and get the software, and you can put it onto a virtual private server, like something that you would run your website on or something like that. And it has to have certain specs of as far as how much power and memory it has, and other technical aspects like that. But once you get the right one, you're able to upload the software onto your virtual private server and operate it that way. And what it is proof of stake validating. So we know Ethereum, it was proof of work, and then it went to proof of stake. And this is what they are operating on now, is these basically smart contracts that just, allow everything to operate the way they're supposed to. But in order to do that, you have to do these technical aspects of things, such as getting the VPS set up, get the software running, and then you also have to own enough coins. This is the big part. You have to own enough coins in order to operate it. So the software is unlocked not by a password or anything else, but it's unlocked by a wallet that contains enough coins. And once this wallet is connected to the software, it can then be pretty much plugged in, and away you run. And now your software is validating the blockchain and making sure that all the transactions are properly ordered and no one is cheating. And this is why you have to have the coins, because if someone did cheat, then you would lose all your coins. But as long as you're just operating the base layer of software, there's no way that you can lose your coins, because you're not cheating and you're using the open source software. That's a general rundown of it, but
Yeah, perfect. I appreciate that breakdown there, Bishop. Absolutely. Let's see. What do we got next on the list? We do have quite a few questions rolling in here. We're going to get to those in a minute. Let's see. Coming down to the partners, I know you guys have started working on a few partners, if I'm not mistaken. Can you speak on who you have currently and who you're trying to onboard in the future as well for your partners?
Currently, we have two main partners. We have the Truth Seekers. They've done our KYC and audit, and they'll be doing a wallet watchers with us. So they're one of our main partners, and we've also been partnered with RBX Samurai. They're a marketing firm of 100 plus shillers that go onto Twitter and all the other degen rooms and shout our name out from the highest mountaintops. So we're using both of those two partnerships currently, and as far as the third partnership, we're not really too far sure on. Well, I would say our third partner is our developer team. So our developer team has been absolutely amazing, and they've been able to really custom make all the software and fine tune everything according to our specifications. That would be our three main partners. And as far as onboarding right now, it's pretty much just going to be marketing partners. So we're just looking for new places to go and do AMAs and everything else. I'd say our core team, though, is pretty well set up.
Awesome, love it. So is it going to be any sort of ambassadorship program maybe implemented eventually?
What is an ambassador? Wouldn't that be like our shield school?
Well, I guess you can kind of see it as that. Ambassadorship, it's one person who kind of would oversee everything there. And I guess it kind of help you bring out the vision of the project to a vast amount of space. You're right. Let's see. All right. Well, I think we pretty much touched on everything there, Sergey and Bishop. Is there anything that we missed before we jump into we've got quite a few questions here for the community.
I guess let's go to questions and see what we might have missed.
All right, let me pull this up here. Let's go with the most recent one here. Okay. This one's coming in from Mike the Therapist. He's curious if you will be renouncing the Who's that?
No, that's me. I'm sorry. Carry.
Yeah, this one's coming from Mike. Yeah, he says, renouncing the contract of this kind of project would definitely not be needed, as there's always need to adjust some features of the day. So what is your take on this? Will it eventually be renounced? Probably not, right?
No, and honestly, renouncing a contract would basically give us a finish line, because at some point we would have to make a change and we couldn't. So we'd have to, go ahead and basically do a relaunch. And, actually we've got 6 different contracts, and they're all, except for the token contract, everything else is actually upgradable. So as we do grow and improve and build out more utility that we have planned, we'll be able to adjust those contracts as needed, so we don't have to go through another relaunch. Because renouncing a contract, I learned that a while ago. It provides like some level of safety, but it's also not. It's not going to last forever. At some point, there's going to be an issue, and then you wind up going through a migration if they continue with it, and which is so weird, right? Because everybody, especially for a while, everybody wanted to renounce contracts, but then when you go through the migration, everybody is sending all their tokens to the developers, then expecting them to sell out, pull out the liquidity and do what they're saying that they're going to do and relaunch a new system. So, we will not be renouncing.
Makes sense. Appreciate it. Next one's rolling in from 0x Dexter. His question is it possible for Fathom Finance to enable cross-chain staking in the future? And do you have any coin burn buyback systems or any token burn plans by using some of the taxes?
So for the cross-chain one, we will not be having cross-chain staking, but we will be on other chains. So you will be able to purchase Fathom on other chains and stake on that chain. But however, cross-chain staking and arbitrage we want to minimize and allow each ecosystem to develop in its own unique way. So that was for that. And also the burn, I'll let Sir Jay talk about the burn.
Yeah, so token burning, I've watched so many projects burn tokens, but when you actually break down the mathematics behind it, and if you follow the formula the AMM does, the only people who benefit first off from the burn are those in beforehand, because at any given time, the current price is already reflecting what has been burned. But then it takes so many tokens actually to become burned to make any kind of a difference. Because if you still, even with like 20 or 30% burned, if you take every other token and sell it off, it's still the price is gonna just, become nothing. Because when you look at the liquidity pools, you're still only looking somewhere between 5 and 10% of the total supply that are in the LP. And so once you start taking that other, 60% of tokens that are owned, and every time you double that LP, the price is cutting to a quarter. So when you go from 10% to 70% in the LP, the price is going to be, nothing. It's going to be garbage. So really, in my opinion, token burns are kind of pointless. However, because of our jet stream, we will be buying back and refilling our ocean for the rewards pool. That becomes the buyback, and it's taking them out of circulation immediately, but then they will be given back out. And because we're compounding the jet stream, and over time, those buybacks will continue to get larger and larger. And even if people aren't coming in and we're not having to pay out more, then over time, our buybacks eventually are going to surpass what we're paying out. And at that point, we will be deflationary as we're filling up the rewards pool faster than we're paying out. And that could take a long time. It could take months, could take years. I'm very excited for when we get to that point. But yeah, so that's the way that we become deflationary, is we're buying the heck out of our own token to support the price and support the whole project using the revenue we're generating.
All right, awesome. Next one's rolling in here from Mike as well. Second question is talking about volume question here. So with people wanting to come in and buy and stake the tokens immediately, that pretty much, has them in a one-spot situation for the next 8 days. So the question is, how will you continue to keep that volume rolling in for the stakers and for new holders?
So we've got a fairly aggressive marketing campaign that is set up for launch and for future of launch, beyond launch. So as far as the buying volume, that's kind of the plan here. But we also do have some other kind of hype generating abilities in our system. Like we were talking about the waves before, and it was briefly mentioned, the seasons, the tides, right? So basically what that all becomes is we can increase the waves to increase that daily APY and basically push a marketing campaign over having a higher amount of rewards. And, the project that we met in, actually after Bishop and I met in, after we had left it, they were going through a migration. They announced the migration, nothing happened. But then they turned their reflections from 2 to 8%, and suddenly a lot of people started buying in. And then they went up to 11% reflections, and they went all the way to a new all-time high. I was very surprised, but I paid attention to that. I was like, all right, increase the rewards, it increases hype, people buy in. So we have that ability built into our system. Of course, we also can dial them back if we need to be more sustainable for long-term sustainability. So that's a lot of things because, at the end of the day, what makes people buy in? It comes down to hype. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If there's no hype, nobody's going to buy in. And so, we've got a couple different things set up so we can do that, because we could even increase the amount of revenue coming in going into the weather contract. We can increase, the amount that the buybacks are occurring. So we've got plans, and we plan to do that to basically create these times of hype to increase, keep the volume coming in. And because again, volume, especially trading volume, is going to be very important for us because we will collect those trading taxes. and we're not going to be increasing our liability if people aren't staking. And so we want people to trade. And so we're hoping that even while doing this stuff, increasing the rewards will generate hype, so people will buy in with the plan to sell out after making, maybe 30, 40, 50%. And I hope they do profit from it, because then they'll come back next time we do something to do it again, and we're still going to collect more money from them and build up our jet stream, which is, again, the overall goal.
Perfect. Let's see. Let's see. All right, Cali Girl here. I had the question of, what is your initial percentage dedicated to the LP from your total raised money? Now, this is going to change on how much you actually raise, correct?
Yes. So a lot of these fair launch style pre-sales, they basically pick the amount for the pre-sale, pick the amount for the LP. But what that does is it actually raises the price at a fairly quick rate. And so we've changed it up a little bit. It's actually going to, as more money is raised, more tokens are put into that pre-sale so that the launch price doesn't go up as much. A big portion of that was I didn't want those in the seed sale to be at like a huge advantage over everybody else in the pre-sale, because, we're trying to be fair here. And so this was the most fair way to do this pre-sale. But also, from the money that we're raising, so this will be interesting. So we're taking a big chunk of it, of what we raise, and putting it right to the jet stream to start earning revenue before we even launch. Well, it'll be allocated to that, and we'll get whatever we can up and running beforehand. And then because every single person is staked at launch, and based on what we've seen other projects, especially with large pre-sales, go through, we're only going to use maybe like 20% of what is raised for LP at launch. And here's why. So by doing that, right, first off, we'll be more volatile. We'll have more price movement, so it should attract more traders, which, again, we're hoping that happens so we can get, they'll still give us the tax money. But then, once after that 8-day period, we're expecting a lot of people to unstake and sell, because it happens everywhere else. Why would it not happen with us? So by having all this backup liquidity, essentially, based on the calculations I've run, if we set the floor price right at launch, and rather than trying to maintain that floor, we use it as a recovery price, we could actually let it drop 50% and bring it back to that floor price 13 different times. And then at that point, inject liquidity to further stabilize. So that's our plan, because, everybody dreads that pre-sale dump. And so we're expecting it to happen when it can happen. And we're going to be prepared for it.
Exactly. Well said there. Everybody's, always looking to make that short profit quickly. It's just nature of the business there. So, allocating 20% with the leftovers there for injecting is a really good plan. 100%. Let's see. Fisheye has a question about your validators. Have you guys looked at any projects to become validators yet?
Yeah, so we've already set up one on Fusion Network, and we're also highly looking at Fathom and Ethereum as well. So Fathom, Ethereum, Polkadot, our goal is to diversify into as many validators as possible. But as far as like cost to entry and everything else, it looks like Fusion will be our first one.
Okay, let's see. Elvis Ford had a question here. Let's see. Can you tell me why Fathom chose to not launch on the Fathom network, since it's almost having a similar name, which Fathom also has lower fees?
Well, we called it Phantom for a while. We kept saying, yeah, we're at Phantom. No, Fathom. And honestly, we went with Binance Smart Chain because it is the most used blockchain at this point. And I've never seen really those on the Fathom network start off like so large. Plus, what happened a year ago, or back in March or April, where Phantom went up because of a guy joined the team, and then it went back down because he left. And so we've been looking at the validator, but it's kind of been iffy as opposed to, what's going to happen in the future with it. So that was definitely came into play as to why we were not looking for it, just because of what was happening based on their team changing. And, like he drove the price up to $3 and change, and it went back down to 20 cents after that. I mean, went back down to $1, I guess, after he left, and then all the other stuff happened in April and stuff. But yeah, so we will eventually launch on there. That is our plan. Now that it's looking stable and stuff. But yeah, Binance just happened. It's the most popular one. It's the most used blockchain right now. So.
Agreed. Yeah. I've actually also accidentally said Phantom a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie. Just naturally rolled over. One of the last questions I'm going to take here before I see if anybody on voice wants to ask a question here is from Maba. Text question here is, what is the total supply of mass and Jetstream that will be available?
So there is no total supply of mass. It's just the amount of people that stake into the system. Currently, there will be about $750,000 worth of mass at launch because of our pre-sales put together. But there's no hard cap on mass. There can be as much mass as people want to stake into our system. And the Jetstream is also uncapped as well because it's just our revenue source. So it's just a combination of all the different validator nodes and bots put together. So there's no real supply for those two things.
I can't wait for the day that there's more mass in our system than there are Fathom tokens. So when we break 1 billion mass, that will mean that over $1 billion worth of Fathom were staked at any given time. Because again, 75% of those mass are burned when people unstake. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And who knows where we'll be at if we have that many mass in our system.
Right. I just had another one rolling here from NFT here, asking a little bit about your past here. I know we touched on this earlier, how you guys came from the DeFi Nights. If you don't mind, kind of breaking down who the DeFi Nights was and how you guys came together there.
So the three of us met in another project, and we were moderators together. Well, at least Sergey and I were moderators in that group, and we met there, and that's how we started. And we started going off into different groups and trying to help as consultants. So we're actually calling ourselves the Tokenomic experts back then, and that just doesn't have a ring to it. So we changed it to the DeFi Nights. Defiant has been with us pretty much the entirety of this time. As soon as we left off, he jumped back on us. He jumped back on our team and was able to join us. So Defiant's been with us from pretty much the beginning, and long before we're known as the DeFi Nights. So it just had a good ring.
Yeah, definitely a better ring, DeFi Nights. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that breakdown as well. All right, that's all the test questions I'm going to take tonight, guys. Does anybody want to hop on and ask a question here on voice before we, kind of move on here? Who's that? I can't see that. Is that Catherine?
What you got going on over there, Mike?
Is Catherine talking? I can't hear her. Catherine, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
That's very weird. I don't see anybody lighting up. Well, maybe it is her. She's lighting up. It's not turning green.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't hear. All right, Catherine, I'm sorry, but we can't hear you. We can roll back to you in a minute. Does anybody else want to ask a question here on voice? All right. Sorry, Catherine. I can't. Where'd you go? I can't hear you. You want to give it one more try there, Catherine, if you have a question? If not, we're going to move on here. or maybe if you want to type your question.
Everyone's sick of listening to us speak, I guess.
You guys had a great breakdown. You guys really did. I guess that about wraps it up there, bros. Is there anything you guys want to leave us with before we get on to the giveaway here? Yeah, any last words you have for the community?
I guess for me, the last thing is, we're investors who didn't like what we saw was happening, and we wanted to see something different, and we've built what we want to invest in, and that's what Fathom is. It's designed to be around forever. It's designed to be fair for everybody who comes in, no matter when you come in, and to keep you from losing all your funds and having your rewards go to garbage because the price drops. Kind of, it changes the way that everything is looked at, just doing the whole value staking on it. And, if it's fine if you're scared or you don't want to jump in, join our Telegram, join our Discord. We're always active as much as we can. And we've got several that have been with us from the beginning for about a year now, and they've helped us, with the white paper especially, because we had to figure out how to explain this stuff that didn't exist. So we had to basically define things and then come up with names for it. So they were there to help us, and we put them through some brutal nights of hours of going through it line by line and reading and be like, does that make sense to you? So we have a lot of people who are very familiar with the system and can answer all your questions. Please join us in our socials and just come chat with us and learn about it, and then you can make an informed decision.
I love it. I appreciate the surgery. One last question I had here, sorry guys, that I had rolling here is from Fisheye. Who's your marketer? Because it's extremely impressive how you guys raise this much money, especially on your fair sale here, raising about $600K in like 5 days or so. Very impressive.
So it's a combination of RBXS, Samurai, and with Truth Seekers. So RBX has been basically pounding us everywhere on socials, especially Twitter. But we've also had this kind of crazy YouTube campaign going on now, with a lot of YouTubers, and that has definitely brought a lot in. And also, especially with the times now, our KYC was done through Truth Seekers. There's actually 3, I think, different AMAs out there that you can see what we look like. James Pelton, Dow King, and the FUD Farm. We have showed ourselves. So we're on 3 different AMAs on those 3 channels. If you want to know what we look like, you can go there and see us. That has made a huge part, especially with what's happened in the last few weeks with some major rugs out there. So
100%, yeah. Anything to give the investors a little more peace of mind. Very, very good there. Doxing yourselves is a big key in this space today. So I guess that about wraps it up there, guys. I appreciate you guys rolling in today for the AMA tonight. It was very well detailed, articulated very well. I think we covered everything. If there's nothing else, we can kind of roll into the giveaway here.
Cool, let's give away some prizes.
Let's get it. All right, so we have about $90 total that we're going to be giving away tonight. One that's already been shared into the Telegram here, $25 to Twitter. All you got to do is retweet, like, and comment on it. A random winner will be picked over there. I'm also going to give away $20 to the best question that was asked tonight. I'll sift through all those answers and questions, rather. And we'll also be giving $20 to a random participant tonight as well. Usually, I always do a whale. I was not able to take down everybody's name today. So what we're going to do for the participant giveaway is have everybody here pick a number between 1 and 250. I want you to go into the main group here at USA Crypto Group, pick a number between 1 and 250, and I will randomly throw that up on a wheel and pick that as well. We're going to also do $10 to a random participant that joins over to your Telegram over at Fathom Finance. Drop a sticker. Drop a USA sticker. I'll go over there and pick an additional $10 winner. Now, following up to this, I will be giving you guys a copy of the YouTube upload. I'm going to upload this to the YouTube as soon as we're done. We're going to do a $15 here as well, and I will post right after we're done here how you guys can have a chance to win $15 there as well. So everybody get their numbers in. Oh, like it all.
I wanted to join in, but I didn't want to win, so I threw out 251. I joined it. Woo! It's more fun that way.
Let's see. Give everybody a couple minutes here while I pull this up. I appreciate you guys coming in tonight. That was a great breakdown, by the way.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate that. I think we're getting better at talking about it. It took a little while.
Let's see. I'm going to share my screen over here, guys. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, share screen. Wow, there's 250 numbers up on that wheel. I'm going to hit shuffle a couple of times here. We got a couple of minutes. Don't forget, guys, also join in over to the Telegram. Sure, USA Johnny over here, my man Johnny is going to tell you guys how to join in over to the Telegram for a chance to win some cash over there as well. Let's see. Give us another minute here. How many numbers we got? We got quite a few here.
I think people are putting multiple in.
Probably. It's not usually. I always usually do the names and give away for a nice fair shot here, but we'll do this right now. We'll give everybody a fair shot here. And it's going to be the first person who says this number at first as well. It's not going to be multiple answers of the same. Give you guys 60 more seconds. There you go. Get it in.
Right, so the first person to say the number. So if you've seen it before, don't write it again. And then you won't win. I'll try 0 because I think it was 1 to 250. Right?
0 not.
I'm at the lowest and the highest. I'm just outside.
There it is.
There you are. Woo! Yeah.
All right. He pinned that there, so we're going to stop right there. Let's spin this up and see who we got for the nearest winner. Let me shuffle it up here. Yeah, there's a lot of me. 29. All right. Let me take a look real quick here. See if I can't get this fast. Oh, looks like no one's got 29. Let's see who's got the closest to it.
Some people had 29, it looks like, earlier today. I searched for 2. There's some
yeah, that was it. Let's see, 28 was the closest that way. Let's see if anybody had 30. All right, nobody had 30, so the closest one's going to be 28, and that's going to be NFTCS. So congratulations there, NFT. You were the closest one to 29. We'll have that all posted up there shortly as well. Yeah, so Sergey, Bishop, appreciate you guys going in tonight. That was a great presentations there tonight. And like I said, I'm going to get this all posted up to YouTube and pop you guys a copy as soon as possible, bros.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
all
you
right.
for having us.
100%. We'll hope to see you guys back post-launch.
Sounds great, man. We'll be back. Catch you later, man. Have a good night.
You too. Take care, guys.
Bye.